My landlord texts me, "Where is my rent?" My answer shocks him. My heart raced as I stared down at the text from my landlord that just came through my phone. It wasn't the first of the month. I had given him my rent for the month already. I was pretty sure of it. I raced to my bedroom and began ripping apart the room to find any money that might be laying around. Maybe I misplaced the rent. I tossed my mattress but found nothing. Next, I opened every drawer on my dresser and ripped out all of my clothes, tossing them to the floor. I ran my fingers through the bottom of the drawers, once again finding nothing. Finally, I went through the closet, throwing clothes and shoes out of the open doorway. There was nothing. My breathing came in pants as I began punching holes through the walls as if the money could somehow be hiding inside. I tore up floorboards, finding my hidden treasure box in one of the loose boards and rummaging through it but coming up empty. By the time I ran out of steam, I was covered in sweat and breathing like I just ran a marathon. So I sat back on my heels as I thought hard about where the rent could have gone. This couldn't be happening. I was in so much trouble. I had to figure out what to do. I pulled out my phone and checked my bank account, my heart sinking when I realized I didn't have enough money to pay this month's rent. I sat at my kitchen table, wondering what I could do to save myself. I didn't want to be homeless. He wasn't the type of landlord who gave grace to his tenants. I tapped my fingers on the table, wondering what to do. I typed back a message. "I gave you the rent 2 weeks ago on the 1st. His response came back quickly. "I don't have it." I frowned. "I promise I gave it to you," I responded. "If I don't have my rent in 5 minutes, then you're out," he said angrily. Anxiety filled me and I began breathing more heavily. My hands began shaking at my sides and tears filled my eyes, spilling over. This was it. I was done. Pulling up my bank information, I scanned the transaction history 2 weeks ago, and there it was. Proof that I took the rent money out of my account. But that didn't necessarily mean I gave it to him. I was always losing stuff, especially important things. I hurried into the kitchen and rooted through the junk drawer, once again finding nothing. Then I rummaged through the drawers of the coffee table in the living room, slamming doors. After that, I headed into the hall closet and threw clothes into the hallway, checking every corner and making a mess. I was getting desperate. I let out a frustrated yell just as a knock sounded on my door. Wiping my sweaty hands on my pants, I rushed over to the door and pulled it open. My landlord stepped past me and held out a hand. "Where's my rent?" he asked again, eyebrows drawn together in anger. I took a deep breath and let it out slowly, pulling out my phone to show him the transaction history. "As you can see, I took out the money for rent," I said. "I know for a fact I gave you that money, so I will not be giving you any more, and if you try to evict me, I'll take this matter to the police." I was proud of my voice for not shaking as I stared at him and delivered my little speech. He stared at me in shock, not expecting that response. I was never confrontational with him. He frowned and pulled out his phone, pulling up his bank information and looking at the past couple of weeks. His face grew red with embarrassment as he glanced up at me. "I'm so sorry," he said. "I didn't realize I had already deposited it. I thought I had lost it." I shook my head and backed away. "I can't keep living like this," I said quietly. "I'm giving you my 30 days notice. I'll be moving out," he paled. "Surely we can talk about this. I didn't mean to scare you." I held the door open for him. "My mind is made up," I said. "Goodbye." He looked like he wanted to argue, but took the hint and walked out of the door. I slammed it shut behind him and sagged against the wall. Time for me to look for a new apartment.